Yonina will be joining us, and it's really wonderful. I feel coming under the tent, it's really special and unique. Today I got a wonderful poem from Sheila that I want to, who's our greeter over here. She'll send me little poems that she's been working on. This one's called, Why Do We Gather Tonight? We came here once just strangers, as our ancestors traveled night and day. Theirs was a journey we will never forget, ours a journey to find ourselves, friendships, and pray. As we gather under the tent tonight, we know here we are never alone. We share the bonds that can never be broken with Bruce's greeting of welcome home. I substituted, it said rabbis, but I think Bruce is the one who says it. All right, we'll bring Bruce out to officially as we also join our virtual group tonight as well.
Fingers crossed on that. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. We are not the cool shul tonight. We are the sweaty shul. Cantor finally has her schwitzing Shabbat, and she's not here for it. Go figure. We have Dr. Yonina Foster, Rabbi Dr. Yonina Foster. She's a rabbi and a doctor. You're just a rabbi?
That's all aspired.
All right, okay, just saying. Anyway, you know, it's not bad out. And I want to make a reference to the weather because, you know, we talk every week about, you know, we'll be outside weather permitting. And it doesn't just mean if it's raining out. If it means, you know, we've had our air quality advisories this summer. And if there would happen to be a heat advisory that said you really shouldn't be outside, we'd be inside. It's not bad. You know, we're in the shade. Every once in a while, there's a little breeze. We're bringing out water at some point. Rich is going to bring out water. So if you need a bottle of water, you can grab one. I see Gail brought her fan. She's prepared. But it's not bad. It's not bad under here. So this is very acceptable. And again, we're praying. We're not digging ditches here. So it's okay to do it tonight. I enjoy the service. I can only imagine what you have planned. You never know. I'll be back later with the announcements. We have a lot of stuff coming up, and stay cool at the not so cool shul.
We also want to thank Adam for leading last week. Did a beautiful job. This is a very special Shabbat on the calendar. We had Tisha B'Av yesterday, and Tisha B'Av is a holiday of mourning. From that point on, we build towards the high holidays, and we turn to sections of Isaiah that are meant to be comforting to us. And there is a very special Haftorah this week. It's called Nachamu, and Nachamu means comfort. It's repeated twice, Nachamu, Nachamu. And Rabbi Yonina has a chant that she's going to share to really inspire our comfort.
Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, comfort. Nachamu Ami, comfort my people. Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, and you're certainly welcome to join in. Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami.
That's a really beautiful one. I have to think that throughout the Jewish world, we're reading that Haftorah tomorrow, and how important and poignant it is for what's been going on in Israel this past week. If you haven't seen the news, we have hundreds of thousands of people on the streets and a lot of dissension, a political dissension. It's been a very traumatic week, and I can't help but think that people saying the words of comfort that were meant for a very different time, it really must strike a nerve. I can imagine lots of tears coming to services this week, especially in Israel. So we send that comfort out, but throughout the Jewish world, I think it's been quite traumatic. We're going to bring a song of love that we used to do at Temple Sinai quite a bit. It's on page 128. It is a song that actually embedded within the verses is God's name, Yud He Vav He, Yedid Nefesh. We only do a small portion of it, but at Temple Sinai, which is one of our legacy synagogues, they used to do that every Friday night. And I was at a service at our kids' camp this past week, and they did it, and I thought, we haven't done that in a while, and I asked Yanina to bring it. It's Yedid Nefesh.
And it's why? Because there's this love thing between God and the Jewish people. So Shabbos is like a wedding. And that's why usually it's the only thing that happens. That's why part of the tradition of our not having weddings on Shabbos is because this is the greatest wedding of all.
Oh, I love that explanation.
Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Meshoch avdecha, Eretz onecha, Meshoch avdecha, la 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 la, Eretz onecha, Yarutz avdecha, Ken ma'ayam, Yesh tachaver la la la, la 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 la, El mul hadarecha. Just on a la. La 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 ya la 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 la.
On the bottom of 128, why don't we read this beautiful poem by the poet Bialik, who was one of the early poets of Europe, but also of Israel. And it's one of my favorites. There are melodies to it, but I think the words itself are just beautiful. So join with me. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace. What a beautiful sentiment. The angels come to greet us, and we greet them. We offer them peace as well. We're going to turn to our candle lighting on page 120. Is there anyone here that's called to turn on our candles? Anyone with a special moment that they'd like to acknowledge? Yes, Russ, come on.
My daughter's 20th birthday.
Daughter's 20th birthday, that's wonderful. So this is pretty easy. You don't have to light anything. You just have to come and click on the lights, yeah. We make it easy. We used to actually try to light with hurricane candle protection, and the wind would always blow. Let's bring in our electric candle light on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
light our way through Shabbat. And Russ, could you lift up our Kiddush cup there, filled with white wine? Thanks, Joanne. Page 123, and Rabbi Yonina will lead us in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'achava u'ratzo v'nchilanu. Zikaron b'masei v'reishit, ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh, zefer l'tziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim. V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon inchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim, to life. Let's turn to page 125 and we'll read together in English. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, and heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. We turn now to the Chadodi as we welcome that bride of Shabbat, 138. And we'll sing the first, second, fifth, and ninth verses. On the ninth verse, we're going to face out over here as we officially welcome Shabbat in. And we welcome one another after by waving at one another. Again, page 138 and 139.
This may be a tune that's a little bit new.
Oh, good. We like
Okay. So, do you mind if I use it sort of as, without words to start
Yeah.
just once?
Good idea.
This is how it goes. That wasn't perfect, but that's just the way it is, you know? It's the heat.
We'll learn together.
Thank you. Lecha dodi likrat hala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat hala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Can you just sort of see the bride coming down the aisle? Bowing. You could bow to each other, right? Look at all the friends who are here and the family to greet you. Lecha dodi likrat hala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat hala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad Hishmi anu el hamichad Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat lechu v'necha, ki hi makor habracha, merosh mikadem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila, lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela, lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. We're at verse 5. He torani, ki va'orech kumi ori, uri, shir darari, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela, lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Boi v'shalom atem bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela, lecha dodi lekrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela.
Let's look around. We have, before you sit down, we're going to do our call of community, but just look around if you would, if you feel comfortable with one another. Some of us are new to this space. Some of us have been here every week or every year. But take a look and just make sure that everyone here feels welcome. We're all in our different spaces. It's very important that we really feel part of this community here. With that in mind, let's remain standing for our call of community. And by the way, if anyone needs any waters, Joanne has waters out over here. Call of community is on page 146, our barcode. You can imagine Israel at peace all the way through here, all the way down, Sheridan Indian Trail, somewhere across the sea.
Baruch et Adonai hamavorach, Baruch Adonai hamavorach, le'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai hamavorach, le'olam va'ed.
We remain standing for Avat Olam, page 150.
Another little chant. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. It's just those first little words. Eternal love. What does that mean to you? Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta.
Page 152, 153, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Just a minute.
154 from this week's Torah portion.
And then I'm going to offer a little special one. And a hafta. Yeah. So,
Actually, should we bring Adam over? You want to do the hafta?
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
okay. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. And you shall teach your children as you live each day, the path you walk, the way to talk, and how you listen for the good in each soul, saying, ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. Plant seeds of loving kindness in the fertile soil of faith. The joy we sow will help us grow a fragrant garden of truth embracing. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. We inscribe these words on the doorposts of our being. With heart and mind, we each can find the precious light that we are seeking. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. We are all God's children, living on Mother Earth. Let hatred cease, bless her with peace, become the mountain witness, holy wonder birthing. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
Beautiful. What a way to celebrate this week when we read that in the
It's
Torah. I
sure
love that.
true. That is
Let's-
so true.
Let's turn to page 158 as we go back in time in the Torah to the crossing of the sea.
that whole section of the service from the Baruch Hu up to now is all about love and being reminded that we were redeemed from Egypt so we could be free people and worship God. And lo and behold, we had a reed seed across. Darn it. Do you ever have a reed seed in your life? Sometimes just getting out of bed.
A rocky one.
Yeah. Okay. So who is like you? Mihi kamocha ba'elim ya. Mihi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mihi kamocha ba'elim ya. Mihi kamocha neder b'kodesh. No ra tehilot o sefele. No ra tehilot o sefele. Yain loch le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed. Yain loch le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Listen, mi chamocha ba'elim ya. Mihi kamocha neder b'kodesh. No ra tehilot o sefele. No ra tehilot o sefele. Amar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu baruch ata Ga'al Yisrael.
Page 162 at the top. Visham Ru, ready to clap.
Yeah, I admit it's an old traditional one. Not sure you're doing it anymore. Oh, wait a minute. I know. There's a time we have to be done, but Vishamru, it's from Torah, and look at what it says. Like, we keep the Sabbath. And that, maintains this baritz, this relationship. And it's there in, the Amidah when we stand up for that prayer. That's where this is.
We go all the way back in time. We
Yes,
keep on going back.
that's right. We sure do. Oh, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam b'rit tova. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam b'rit tova. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam b'rit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'doratam b'rit olam. Uvayom ha'shvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat Shabbat, Bedorotam Berita Olam.
If you're able, please rise as we go towards the Amidah, or standing prayer, page 164. And we're going to do that opening line, Adonai Svatai Tita, and we'll continue with our private prayers, at the end of which we're going to ask you what you're most thankful for.
Adonai Sifatai Tita, Ufi Agita Hilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your grace.
We continue with our own private prayers. We turn to page 176. This is really the heart of any time we have this Amidah Tefillah. It's Modim Anachnu Lach. This is where we ask God for just saying thank you. I think it's really the essence of our prayers. It's so important, as I've said before, the leader is actually not, we're not allowed, the leader can't say thank you for you. In a traditional congregation, the leader, the Shaliach Tzibor, is doing the prayers on behalf of the congregation. But this is the one prayer they're actually not allowed to. And you'll see it on the wall of many traditional synagogues. It'll have a different version of this because the congregation has to do a separate one from the leader. So we're going to do a tradition that Susan Schwartz taught me and that Rabbi Yonina is going to do as well. And this is, we're going to do the chant Modim Anachnu Lach. We give thanks, God, and then if you have something that you're thankful for, please call it out. We'll have an opportunity to go
around. Modim Anachnu Lach. We thank you, God, for all your gifts. Modim Anachnu Lach. Modim Anachnu Lach. Modim Anachnu Lach. We thank you, God, for all your gifts. Modim Anachnu Lach. Modim Anachnu Lach.
So if you have things that you are thankful for from this past week, things that were special, just raise your hand and we'll go around.
There was a baby born in our community almost a month ago. It wasn't supposed to make it, and it's going strong and doing well.
Oh my God, Kim works in the maternity ward at Sisters, yeah, and she had a chance to bring new life and unexpected. How wonderful! That's a true miracle. Don't be intimidated because it's such an amazing thing.
Continuously welcoming.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're welcome.
My beloved young daughter paid us a visit, spent a few hours with us, and it was a joy.
That's nice.
She made things good.
Good. That's good.
I have a work related.
Oh yeah.
This was my last week as a full-time employee.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I retire Monday.
Oh my gosh. You're so quiet there. You're holding back all those emotions.
I'm just thankful for my health.
I think a lot of us feel that way, thankful for our health.
Friends.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you, Sheila, our Shir Shalom community. We'll bring all those together. Let's do the chant one more time.
Modi mana nuhula, Modi mana nuhula. We thank you, God, for all your gifts. Modi mana nuhula.
So we're going to take time to send out blessings and prayers to those in need of healing. I'm not going to read our list during the summer. We don't read it, but we'll read it in the morning at our morning service. So if you have people that you're thinking of, you can say it out loud. You can keep it privately in your own prayers. The prayer itself is on page 371, the Mishavera. Feel free to raise your hand if you have people you want to say.
Prima Ackerhall and Flossie Zilkowski.
My parents are Carol Grocer. They're
Harold Jumpy.
Peter Astrow.
Let's bring all of those people into our hearts, and the ones also that weren't said, and the ones that were maybe said virtually. All those, our attention matters to those people, so we bring it out, and we also look at one another. All of us could use a little healing too. Again, 371.
Mishabera avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May those things on the first strength who blessed the ones. People, I just like totally sleep. Keep going. Help us find the courage, thank you, to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Thank you. Mishabera imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Complete healing of body and spirit. May all our prayers go out to those that are in need. Shabbat Shalom. So you might have noticed here in Buffalo some more Bills paraphernalia around. The camp started. I know Joanne in our staff meeting was sharing that I think people are getting excited about the season. So I have a question for you, whether you're a Bills fan or not. And the question is, if you could look out into the future and see the ups and downs and everything that's going to materialize over the next year or so, would you want to? What do you think? Yeah. It's pretty scary to look at the future. What if I told you the Bills won the Super Bowl at the end of it? Would you want to see that? this question that I'm asking is actually the question that Moses gets asked in this week's Torah portion in Ve'etchana. He doesn't get asked about the Super Bowl, but he gets asked the question whether he wants to look out into the future, into where the Israelites are heading. Is that good or not? And we see his hesitancy, because he says, I want to look out at Eretz HaTova, at the good land. In other words, I only want to see the good. Just show me the Super Bowl. That's good. That's good. I don't want to see the rest. And you know what God responds? All right, you're going to see not only the good land, you're going to see Yama, Vakedma, Safona, all the different directions. You get to see, as Ibn Ezra, the medieval commentator, says, all the things. You're not going to just see the good stuff. You're going to see the stuff that's hard. You're going to see the stuff maybe you don't want to look at. And we can imagine that Moses would have a lot of trepidation in seeing this. This is his vision, because as you know, Moses was not able to go into the promised land. This is part of the cruelty of the Torah. The Torah itself stops mid-journey. Not only Moses, but all of us have to start over again in Genesis. None of us in the Torah get to see that next space. And I was thinking about this a lot this week because of how complicated it is. I have a little placard that's in my room, in my office here, that says, "It's complicated." That is Zem Misubach. That is the motto of Israel. Anytime you go on a real, authentic trip to Israel, raise your hand if you've been there at any point, right? What you come back from saying is saying Zem Misubach. This is complicated. I don't know how to think about it. There was a time in our Jewish community where all across the Jewish community, when you said Israel, everyone would say, and maybe that was not really authentic anyways, because it's impossible to look at any situation, whether our own lives or the life of our country and our community, and say fully, There's always a little bit of angst. There's always a little things that we wish that we could do better. And of course, when we're looking at the complicated nature of the land of the state of Israel, we of course would feel that way. So I think about Moses looking forward, and maybe he sees the triumph, that Super Bowl of the conquest and entering into the Holy Land. Maybe he sees all the way to King David and the wonders, and Solomon and the birth of the temple period. Maybe he seems forward, what we just saw this week, Tisha B'Av, the destruction, the Babylonians and later the Romans. And maybe he sees all the way forward to the modern state of Israel. When we think about what we hold precious, we don't really want to look so far in advance, as much as it might make things easier to know, particularly in a week like this, to know where the next steps. I had a chance to listen. I just want to share a little bit about, how many of you have been following the news in Israel? That's good. You're you're up to date. I think a lot of Americans, it's kind of gone over their heads. It's quite a complicated thing, but I had a chance to hear from a very good colleague, Amy Klein, who was my Israel advisor when I was in Israel 20 years ago or so, and she was Zooming on Monday morning. Well, it was Monday afternoon our time, and I guess Monday evening her time. And it was very dark where she was. I was wondering, where is she? She was in a tent on Gan Sacher, which is one of the few green spaces in Jerusalem. It's a wonderful space. We often would play Frisbee and other things over there. It's not too far from the Knesset. But this week, it became an entire tent village. There's thousands and thousands of tents. And actually, while she was speaking, you could hear the chanting. Tuesday morning was when the vote came in. And you could hear the protests on both sides, all the different complications. And she was sharing with us, so I'm going to share and reflect a little bit of what she was saying. And certainly, it's complicated. It's not something that's very easy to understand or really get to the bottom of. But there is really that feeling of angst, particularly in the liberal Jewish community in Israel, which is a lot. There's 500,000 people that were on the streets, which is over 10% of the population. It's quite something. Not all of them in Jerusalem, but there was protests. There's actually a virtual map where you can see where all the protests were happening. So what was happening? You had the current government. If you know the Israel government's structure, you have the Knesset, and you have the party that's in charge. And the party that's in charge, by definition, has a majority of the seats. If they fail, they lose the majority, they're no longer in charge. That's how it works. It's not like in America where you get elected, and unless you get thrown out of office or something like that, you're basically there for the 4 years, and it's kind of expected. In Israel, it doesn't work like that at all. You're only in power. You're in power for the maximum, really, those 4 years. But at any point along the way, your coalition could fail. So the current government, which is Israel's most right-wing government, following the most left-wing government it had, and it started only in January, and it has specific things it's trying to achieve. It's very nationalistic government, and it comes with a lot of grievances on all sides. It's not one body, it's all sorts of different grievances from the religious right, some very, very nationalistic. You have Netanyahu, who's trying to avoid some jail sentencing. It's complicated, as I said. And one of the major things that they've had on their agenda is to change the judiciary. The reason that they felt is that Israel, you have this Knesset, you have the governing party, but it is held in check. You don't have the Senate and Congress to hold it, in the House and the Senate to hold it in check. You have in Israel the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has different powers to be able to kind of check the government. And it's been very important. But this group that's in charge right now is upset about what that means. And so what they're trying to do, their goal during this, their governance right now, is to remove the advantages the Supreme Court, the Attorney General, and this checks and balance system. And this is very threatening to the democracy as whole, because if there isn't the checks and balances, the governance can move forward with whatever it would like. And that's sort of the debate that's going on. So they had 5 things that they wanted to change. A lot of these have to do with House, similar to problems we have here, but we have a very robust structure. It's also vulnerable, as we found out in recent years at different times, but there is quite a lot of checks that you have in there. The president can only go certain so far with their actions. Here they wanted to make sure that the Supreme Court justices are chosen a certain way, that they're not people that there are people that are going to support the opinion of the government there, that the Attorney General would also be limited in what they're able to do, that the way the laws are created would be limited. And they went after what they thought was the easiest one. Now, it's kind of funny because of the name of have you heard of the name of this? It's the reasonableness clause, which is, Amy Klein said, it's a Gilad Histadrut. And this reasonableness clause, you think, well, what is this? What does this mean? The reasonableness clause. What it means is that if the Supreme Court thinks a decision by the government is unreasonable, or a minister is appointed, for example, that has no expertise in their business, or that a decision is made by the government that's unreasonable, the reasonableness clause allows the Supreme Court to negate it. So that is the check, and it is a very big deal. Obviously, the government thought that they could get away with doing this without much protest, but it is quite scary to not have that check. And so what happened is the government, the 64 votes, I believe, that came there, they everyone else walked out, so it was 64-0 the decision, and they decided to go forward, and that's where it is. But it's quite a time. It is certainly very complicated. And I sort of wonder, I'm curious, because if you talk to people, especially Americans living in Israel, they'll say this is the death knell of democracy. We don't know. We don't know where it's going. We have till November for the next set of decisions. But the future is a scary place. And I wonder, if we could consult Moses, what would he say? Are we going to win the Super Bowl? Is the Israeli government going to survive? How's it going to play out? We don't actually know. We don't know how this will play out. This is one step. Perhaps it will be mitigated. Perhaps there'll be other times. But it just shows you what it is to see and what it means to sit in this moment where we don't know, to sit on a week where we just had Tisha B'Av and that we have Shabbat Nachamu. So we're going to do that chant again, and I want you to feel that angst. So we're going to go back to the Nachamu, Nachamu chant. Please, God, help us find comfort in these difficult times.
Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami, Nachamu, 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 Nachamu Ami.
May our words, our prayers go out. We rise for Aleinu, page 586. It is not enough just to pray. We need to go out and do good work in this world. Yonina has a separate prayer book, so it's different.
Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kakenu kahem, v'gohor aleinu k'chol ha'madam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachalim u'motim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 591.
V'ne'emar Haya Adonai L'melech al kol ha'aretz Bayom hahu, Bayom hahu Yiyeh Adonai echad U'shemo, U'shemo U'shemo echad.
You may be seated. We turn to our mourner's Kaddish. This week, actually, I lost one of my classmates in rabbinical school, Rabbi Judith Abramson. Wonderful. She worked with rabbis with special needs, and she had a huge heart. She was in her early 80s. One of our oldest classmates, she was 63 when we graduated. So it's a very sad loss. We haven't had a lot of losses in our rabbinate, so very sad. We're also thinking about Bronya Umansky, who died this week, an incredible woman from Ukraine who was, her mother died when she was born, and she was sent into an orphanage by her father, and she was determined to stay connected to her family. She was offered, it was during the time of the Nazis, she was offered to give up her Jewish heritage, and she said no. and she found her family on the radio of all places, when she was 30 years old, and was reunited with them and eventually made it here. Incredible story, actually. We're also thinking about Richard Bronstein, who died in this past month. And on our yard site list from years past, Moses Barish, Morris Vernon, Philip Brogadier, Malcolm D. Brutman, Benjamin Bush, Erwin Kropp, Eva S. Edelman, Maynard Feldman, Nathan Finkelstein, Sherry Franco, Jack Garrison, Susan Goldhirsch, Theodosia Goldman, Elliot Hanan, Louis Meyer Eisenberg, Lillian Levitt, Sumner Leander, Ruth Mindell, Saul Myers, Jack Orlick, Saul Ostroff, Norma Perlman, Benjamin Pescow, Lorraine Pleskow, Walter Rosen, Elliot Rosenthal, Henry Schlanger, Edward Schulafan, Charles Siegel, Grace P. Stern, Chester Stricker, Faye Hall, Gussie Z. Ungerleader, Morton Wakeoff, Rebecca Weber, Jacob Weiner, Boris Zebrak, Nancy Zimbel, Viola Ziolakowski. I notice a lot of you are here for a yard site. I'm appreciative that we can honor the memory of your loved ones. If you have other names, feel free to raise your hand. All those who,
Pearl Horowitz and Susan Stein.
During this month at 4142, the victims of the Transnistria operations.
all those whose custom it is to rise, please rise. Yikadal, Yikadash, Shemei Rabba, Yalma, Livrach, Urte, Yamlik, Malkute, Echayakon, Yamachon, B'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Agala, Bizman, Kari, Bimru, Amen. Yehi Shnei Rabba, Lavorach, Leolam, Omer, Yamaya, Yifarak, Yishabach, Yifar, Yitraman, Yitnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei, B'Kudshah, B'Richu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tish b'chata v'nechamata, gamiran b'alma b'imru amen. Yehi shlama rav amin shemaya, v'chayim aleinu b'al kol Yisrael b'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imrama, huyaseh shalom, aleinu b'al kol Yisrael b'al kol yishbetei b'al b'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and we say amen. You may be seated, Zikronam Rabracha. We have Bruce Chorus to offer our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Bear with me here. There's one I need that's from a text, and there's one that's from an email. So we're multimedia announcements tonight. First of all, thank you to our service greeters, Schwitzing Sheila and Melting Marsha, for helping out. I told Sheila this afternoon, I said, bring a little squirt bottle with you, and we can just give everyone a little spritz when they came in. She did not do so. Sorry about that. Thank you, of course, to Rabbi Alex and Rabbi Dr. Yanina Foster for a lovely service tonight. 2 rabbis, no waiting. Thank you to Bagel J's for providing our challahs every week for Shabbat. They're truly appreciated. Tomorrow morning, we have a virtual offering Torah study, 9 o'clock. That's via Zoom. The Shabbat morning service and Kiddush luncheon will be at 10:45 at Temple Beth Tzedek. Sunday morning, I don't know if you saw the email that went out with the clarification, but he's going to be one busy rabbi on Sunday. 10 o'clock in the morning, he'll be taking part in the worship service at Pilgrim St. Luke's United Church of Christ down on Richmond Avenue. And then at noon, he will be over at Calvary Baptist Church on Genesee Street for fellowship, food, and fun. So an opportunity to build bridges with our neighbors down in the city. And that's a great thing. So thank you for doing that. That's Sunday. Then let's see here, hang on a second. Women of Shir Shalom are going to be doing something 2 weeks from Sunday, right? The 13th. Okay, so Women of Shir Shalom are holding their summer potluck pool party and planning picnic, say that 4 times fast, at the home of Marina and Mark Finkelstein. That's Sunday, August 13th at noon. They're going to provide an entree and drinks, Anyone who comes should bring appetizer, salad, side dish, or dessert. Marina is taking the RSVPs for that. Thank you to everyone. Speaking of the Women of Shir Shalom, thank you to everyone who took part in their Women of Shir Shalom high tea on Sunday. I was not there. I saw the pictures on Facebook. Great event. Lots of people taking part. Lots of great food. It was a wonderful event. Thank you guys for organizing that. Speaking of food, our next Shabbatas will be a week from Tuesday. That's August 8th. Don't forget to get online and do your pre-order. Thank you to everyone who supported the one this past week. It was very successful, so we appreciate your support. Thank you also to everyone who donated to the Red Cross blood drive yesterday, sponsored by Assembly Member Karen McMahon. Speaking of donations, during the month of July, well, it's over, so we won't mention where they've been collecting in July. Where's August?
School supplies.
What?
We're collecting school
Okay, so in
supplies.
August, our Tikkun Olam team will be collecting school supplies. Please bring your donations when you come to Temple for that. Thank you to Todd and his crew. They were back cleaning the building this week. Dumpster number 2. Dumpster number 2. The basement is cleaned out. The storage areas are cleaned out. They did not get to Joanne's office. That will be dumpster number 3. Alex's office will be a separate one. Anyway, thank you for guys.
Set this up.
As I said last week, if you've never been in our basement, you're lucky. It is a scary place, and they got it cleaned out, which is great. Big event coming up a week from Monday. That is the summer celebration. That is our joint fundraiser with Temple Beth Zion and Transit Valley Country Club. There actually is still time to sign up. You just need to call Judy Feldman at Temple Beth Zion by Monday to do so. Let's see, August 11th, Friday at 6 o'clock, our special outdoor service will include mini concert with Jay Dreff and Ken Kaufman, followed by gourmet pizza and wine. We hope to see you then. And then Noah Budin is back on Friday, August 18th. That will also include our end of summer barbecue. It's not the end of summer, but we're doing it a little earlier this year due to some conflicts coming up on other Fridays. So we will have our end of summer barbecue.
What about next Friday?
What about next Friday?
Yonina's leaving.
Are you leading the service?
I'm
It
leading.
doesn't say that.
And we're
Well, I
selling.
don't know why it wasn't posted anyway.
and Joanne.
That's all right.
It will
I'll be here. You'll all be surprised. Without the cantor or the rabbit.
on top of it. Don't worry about it.
I didn't.
And we're gonna
Anyway.
celebrate her rabbit next.
That's right. So next Friday. So you're off again next Friday?
I'm in Chautauqua.
You're in Chautauqua next Friday. Fingers crossed on that. Okay. If you need anything from anyone, please contact the rabbi, the cantor, but not tonight because she's not here. Todd, Joanne, or myself. We are here for you. Please join us for, what do we have, an ice cream onig tonight? We have an ice cream onig, perfect for a night like tonight. If you would like to sponsor an onig for a special event or for no reason whatsoever, talk to Joanne. Shabbat Shalom, and as always, thank you for being part of our wonderful Shir Shalom family. So you're here 2 weeks in a row. That's really cool. That's a treat.
We're very lucky to work with Rabbi Yonina, and she's really going to
I
show
did
off her
beautifully.
entire gifts next week and also leading our Saturday morning service. All right, so we are ready for By the Rivers of Babylon.
Page
Where-
370.
Yeah, I thought I had it.
Yeah.
370.
This is from our old Lee Hayes of the Weavers and Don McLean.
Yeah, I think it's not 370. I think it's 370 in your book.
Oh dear.
I'll tell you what it is.
It's under.
I had it, and I forgot to write it up.
It's under probably there are songs of memory toward the end,
Yeah.
and I have it.
I
same
have it
page as
674.
Elizio.
It's 674.
Okay. Ah, I used the other number. Okay. Ooh, excuse me. Al Naharot, Al Naharot, Al Naharot Bavel. Sham Yashavnu, Yashavnu, Gam Bachinu, Bezochreinu, Bezochreinu, Bezochreinu et Zion. By the waters of Babylon, we lay down and wept for thee, Zion. We remember thee, remember We remember thee, Zion. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, la la.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. Please go get ice cream. Return your cedar and your prayer books, minus the leaflet over there to the rack. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat. Shabbat, Shabbat, shalom. Shabbat, shalom. Woo! Shabbat, shalom. Woo! Shabbat, 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 shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I lend thee Shabbat Shalom.
Actually, don't know. Yeah, that one is for no, the other one is like they have a community day and the minister and I are getting friends. Get invited. It's like east side is really
Oh my God. Oh, it's way down in Canberra. It's definitely. I do, yeah. If you really want to, my address is 53. You really don't have to.
No, I will get them. The worst thing is Joanne is just down the block. Yes.
Thank you so much. And if I can't find a way to play, unfortunately, I can always donate to the Green Library and then everybody else.
Listen, just find a way to listen.
I'll find a way to listen. Yes.
Somebody must have heard it.
Yes, I'm sure somebody. Yes, absolutely correct. Yes, every Friday night until August 18th. That's when I have to go back to college. I am doing that no obligation. Rabbi Alex asked me to again, but it was kind of spontaneous tonight to be a halftime. I actually almost forgot it. I almost messed it up because I got the outshare on the using the outshare on the 18 melody at first, but then I kind of saved myself mostly. Probably it's a little off. I'm really honored to hear that.
It's also the anniversary. The guy in charge of it, tomorrow's the anniversary. I expect it would be nice to be able to all come next week.
Well, that's very kind. I do appreciate it. I wouldn't want to like step on you. He already has a beautiful service plan. But if Rabbi Alex asked me to be put up, again, I'd be happy to. And who knows, maybe, I mean, the next two services after that, the last ones that I'll be doing here are both.
I've only been here a month and a half, but I have three people I know.
The name of the first one, but Noah Hooten is the 18th and the 11th. So I feel terrible. I'm supposed to remember the name. So you're right.
I will talk to the rabbi. I won't chat. I want to chat. Is that what you like on Monday?
Well, I mean,
Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know his exact schedule. I just know he's going to be service. It'll literally be at 8 a.m. in San Juan and probably. I don't know what the extent of his retirement is. It'll be a little sparser than whatever happens. We'll find a way to make it a great service.
Yeah, I might just run out of kids holiday.
I know, yeah. Yeah, it's hard coming out of the pandemic.
And try not to get this on your
We have in-person services again. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying the service. Nice to meet you. Find feedback. Absolutely. My pleasure.
that's another career too. Their name's Kayla. This person. Okay. There you go. Good job. Like, no, I was like, so young. I'm over here, like, tall. I look very. I was from Canada, and I went to a blood test, and ran over. Yes. And she, I weighed
waiting for good tag, right?
Indeed.
Sometimes you never know about this weather.
I didn't realize I was on top and I was like, hey,
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. I almost messed up because I confused the melody about Sharon O'Keefe.
yeah. I remember remembering what the last time I hear so funny, I told them they were like, yeah. So I did that. And then Macy asked me last time to like height, like just like later. I was like, but I'll go again.
Yes. Was that the one? This is just but the keyboard you kind of hear is it's just
There's no break in it.
Yeah, so when I was younger, I could get up, I could go all the way to the top and stuff, right? Because did you talk to people on the bottom?
right.
Go down easy, make a left, and keep going, and then keep going, and then find the places that you can climb down, right? Oh, very cool. You have to pace yourself and make sure you have enough food to then make it back up the hill.
Yeah, that might be a really nice way of helping people find a nice food.
Like I didn't realize what I was getting.
Having a problem because he
Because you exercise, right?
Oh, yeah.
bothering him to play in one key and have a
That's
different.
exactly what happens to me all the time. Yeah, no, that's what happens to me too. Although I have got myself somewhat used to it because sometimes I'll just sometimes when I'm writing music, I decide that I don't like the key that I'm writing in, and I want to find a different key, but I don't want to have to learn how to play it in another key. So I'll just cycle through all the different keys that I transpose in it. A little bit, but not to the extent that I can't use it mildly. And I'm hopefully building up the skills to use it. Although my ultimate goal really is to just be able to transpose automatically on like a standard acoustic keyboard, which is hard to learn how to do. But it's like if you kind of memorize how the chord shapes plane from one key to the next, it's a skill that you can develop over years and years of practice. And it's really useful for like if you're like a musical theater accompanist and you're doing stuff. Yes, yeah, exactly. If you're accompanying people at an audition, there's this great YouTuber who worked as a Broadway pianist and a rehearsal pianist for years. He was Seth Meyers. He talks a lot about how he needed to learn how to transpose. Singers would take these ridiculous demands, and it would all, go horribly wrong at an audition. And the singer would blame him, and it's like,
Now that's still not necessary.
yeah, unless you're using an acoustic piano, which is why I kind of want to still have it, hopefully. Yeah.
Drive your own way yourself.
No, we usually alternate driving, but my mom works in driving. Sometimes she gets stuck on the freeway in rush hour. Well, she's